le manu Samoa, aluma le ato iai. Le manu Samoa, tama toa e toa tama. Le manu Samoa, aluma le ato iai. Le manu Samoa, tama toa e toa tama.
Wa e whaali, i le lalolangi, le loto tele, polo watu nuu, e mafuai, le malosi, ma le mimita, e toia titi, ai tanu, le fasiinga, o le liona, e lai titi, ai mai.
My name is Robin Lang, and it was Robin Mester, and I went to Western Samoa in the South Pacific in 1970 to 72, and I lived near the main capital of Apia, Western Samoa. One memorable thing was that we landed on a grass runway and were greeted by people that put flowered leis around our necks. And one of the Peace Corps volunteers that worked with me, Pam Spencer, I think her name was, I forget her last name, made a book about our group, and called the Faha Samoa.
Okay. My name is Karen Falealea. I was sent to Samoa. It was called Western Samoa at the time, and I went there in 1971. My family was not pleased. No, they were not pleased.
Because?
It just didn't seem like it was going to further my career. No, they were not pleased, not for a minute. Training was in country, which was really cool, because prior to my group, everybody else had trained on the island of Molokai in Hawaii. So, our group, they decided that why start in Hawaii and then move them to Samoa? Just go ahead and immerse them right in the culture. So that's what they did. And I didn't say a word about being sick a lot, did I? No.
You were sick a lot?
I was sick a lot.
What kind of problems?
Just,
Stomach problems?
Stomach, your skin infections, everything. The tiniest mosquito bite would turn into this horrible thing, and you didn't feel good a lot of the time. It was one thing or another, and so yeah, I was. I try not to think about being sick there, but. Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! At the school where I was, I kind of made myself the librarian, because there wasn't a librarian. The library was just a horrible mess, and there were papers and books stacked all over. And so I'd hang out in the library, and I'd plan what I was going to do with the kids, and I kept hearing this noise. And it was a fairly big room, maybe twice as big as the room we're in right now. So, and it was, it had stacks, and it had tons of paper, just tons of paper. Well, there was a rat living in this library, and he was enormous, and he was using all that tons of paper to make himself a nice nest, and I kept hearing it for a long time, not realizing what was making that noise. And finally, I think I pointed it out to someone, and they told me it was a rat, and they got it out of there. Oh. I got way more out of being in the Peace Corps than anybody around me. I feel like I was soaking this all up, and it was changing me.
Say more about
and
that.
It wasn't changing where I was, not at all. The people there they had it down. They didn't need my help. They didn't need anything that I knew. about, really. So it was it was kind of a I don't know, maybe a humbling experience, to see that they had no need for me.
My name is Marjorie Klein. I was in Western Samoa from 1972 to 74 with my husband. I don't have a college degree, so my husband was looking for a job and couldn't find one in San Diego, so he applied for the Peace Corps, and when he got an assignment, we got married real quick, and I went with him because they just needed him. So the first year I had a job as a statistician for a UN doctor who was starting a family planning program, and they had denied her request, so they just threw me in there. And after that year I said, no, I'm going home if you can't get me a real job. So the second year I was a English teacher, 12th grade English. I was the high school phys ed teacher and the high school home ec teacher at a girls' Catholic high school.
Carrie Hessler-Radlett, Western Samoa, 81 to 83. Sure, I can tell you a story about my host family. Mosa is her name. She's my host mother, and she is responsible for my career in public health. I had a 25-year career in public health, and the reason she was responsible for it is that while I was in Peace Corps, she became pregnant with her 9th child. And she was distraught because she already had 8 other children. It was very hard work for her. She did not have money for another child, and she was just absolutely frustrated and angry that she was pregnant again because she had no access to family planning. And I went through that 9-month pregnancy with her, and then eventually she went into the hospital and had a terrible hemorrhage and nearly died. But she did actually give birth to a beautiful baby girl named Margarita. And the reason it's important is because of her experience in pregnancy and her lack of access to family planning and reproductive health, it led me to desire to have a career in public health and reproductive health and HIV/AIDS in particular. So she changed the course of my life through her experience. Well, I'll have a story. It's not necessarily about me, but in Samoa, where I was a Peace Corps volunteer, there are latrines, and Peace Corps were the group. Peace Corps was the one that introduced the latrines, and these latrines are called Peace Corps toilets. And in fact, in Samoa, it's Falewila Pisikoa, which literally means Peace Corps toilet. So any modern toilet is called a Peace Corps toilet.
Oh, wow. I never knew that.
Thank you very much for this chance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck with your interviews.
My name's Julie Olson. I was in Western Samoa from 1983 to 85. I was a teacher there.
In a particular village? Or?
I was teaching at Vaipuli College, which is like a high school, on the island of Savaii, near the village of Whangamalo. There was one time in training that was really pretty frightening, and that's when we went out on a reef walk. And we were snorkeling and looking at the coral, and we had our Samoan counterpart telling us all about it, and we stayed out a bit long, and the tide came in, and all of a sudden I realized that I was twice as far out now than I was, and we had to start swimming in, and it was really quite scary. I never did that again. So.
Okay, great, thanks. Just a quick little story, it's
Okay.
fine.
In Samoa, labor was gender specific. So families would choose at a very young age how to raise a child, whether to raise a boy as a boy, a girl as a girl, or a boy as a girl, or a girl as a boy. And this third gender, girls raised as boys were called fa'atamas, in the style, fa'a meaning in the style of tama meaning boy, and fa'afafine in the style of a girl. They would make this decision when the kids were about 2. And this is because in the culture, the girls' jobs were to bang the clothes on the lava rocks and prepare food, and then the boys would go up to the plantation. They would climb coconut trees. They would do most of the fishing. And so this was one way to solve that problem of labor. And instead of having, it's really an unusual situation, but that's what they did. Now, what happened was as these young people grew older, and they were all very well accepted in the village, they would sometimes marry, but they would sometimes continue to be a fa'afine. Like there was a teacher at my school named Michael. He was a fa'afine, and the other teachers he lived with, the male teachers, treated him badly. They treated him like a slave girl, and when he went home at Christmas, I remember his father was then wanting him to snap out of it, to suddenly become a man, and that he was not able to do that. He had decided that he was gay. But not all fa'afines are gay or lesbian. It's a very unusual situation, and I did have a boy in my home ec class learning to sew and garden and things, so that it's just a very flexible gender thing. So, very
interesting. So they would do this, say something when the child's about 2 years old.
The parents would make the choice.
And simply based on, we need somebody to do more feminine things around or more masculine things around. It wouldn't be anything but the child.
I think they were using some other observations that they'd made, because most of the fa'afines were really beautiful. They had better legs than I did. They were, in our culture, we have lots of we have transvestite, we have gay, we have lesbian, we have transsexual. There it really seemed like, for the men anyhow, the fa'afines, it was very much dressing like a woman, the makeup, the really, sort of the movie star image. Whereas the girls, it was more the boys who were really kind of flaunting their beauty. I don't know, I think parents used observations they made of their 2-year-olds and said, I think. Vaipuli College, the girls would periodically be overcome by sickness, and they called it aitu. They had a ghost in their body. And when this happened, they would actually physically sometimes get sick. They would have a fever. I remember using my medical kit to go over and take somebody's temperature, but this would afford them this period of a day or two to get all this attention to sort of cure the ghost, get the ghost out of you. And my belief was that, maybe this was the way, since you weren't to talk about your sadness or your fears or whatever, any negative emotions, that this was a way to sort of express or exercise those sad feelings or negative feelings and get a lot of attention.
Hi, my name is Leroy. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Western Samoa from 1991 to 93. My primary project was being a secondary science teacher, that is teaching biology, chemistry, physics. I also taught mathematics in the schools. I did a lot of other things involved with the community for secondary projects as well.
My name is Sean Barnes. I served in Samoa in the Pacific Islands from 2000 to 2003. I served as a teacher in the village of Vaito'omuli, district of Palauli, island of Savaii.
My name is Amanda Cusick. I served in Samoa from 2003 to 2005. I was stationed in a little village called Alafua, which is just outside of the capital city, Apia.
Samo, tama tama to.